I'm voting with my dollar at this point, and I'm putting my money on publishers that have my back, that are saying, we get that this is a volatile landscape, and we get that you cannot count on walk-in traffic, and we don't know what this looks like in a month, so we're going to make it easy on you to weather this storm.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
All right, Dal, for real, first things first.
First things first.
Yes.
Most important stuff.
This is something we've been remiss on.
Mission critical.
We need to get to it right away.
Yep. Super topical.
Chris Burton, you emailed us a few weeks ago, and
Chris.
we keep forgetting to get to your question. I'm very sorry. We meant to each time. We've just not.
Yeah.
So here it is, and it's a good question. With all the difficulties surrounding speculators, and this week you're the villain number 3, that's when he sent this.
Uh-huh.
It got me wondering.
Which 4 came out this week, so that's how long ago that was.
What are the typical demographics of the speculators you've seen in the stores? I'm guessing they're mostly white men between, 40 and 60, but I could be wrong as I don't have any recent experiences I can recall of seeing them out in the wild. I'm just curious and wondering if this is accurate or wrong, or if there are any noticeable outliers, like, say, women speculators, teenage speculators, senior citizen speculators, guys dressed like lawyers. Thanks. Chris, if you lower your age bracket, you're spot on.
Yeah, I'd say 30 to 50 is kind of what I'm seeing as far as speculators go.
Yeah.
Men, absolutely. White, not necessarily. Some of it might be because my exposure to it is mostly Wednesdays in Bucktown, so I can't really speak to, like, Wednesdays in River North, what that credit's like.
Oh, wait. You meant you were serious.
Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, I would not say... ethnicity, I don't think there's a commonality for speculators in Bucktown. I see a lot of different types of men show up. It's basically all men, though. There's maybe a woman or two, but it's not nearly as kind of methodical and pronounced as the male speculators are. They come in very primed for specific books and very anxious to get them, while... I think the women I've seen speculating are a little bit more... It's more of an outgrowth of their interests rather than just buying whatever is hot that week, which I'll see for the men who speculate. But yeah, in general, I would say probably like 30 to 50, more in the 30 to 40 range. That seems to be the bulk of the speculators I see. I don't really see a lot of younger men speculating, and I certainly don't see any older men speculating.
I have to say that I never even thought about it until Chris's question.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's amazing how it is almost exactly what he said.
Yeah.
And I laughed at the River North one just because that store is so slow normally.
Sure.
But the speculators there fall right into the same category you just described.
Yeah.
They were, of course, in, again this week because of Nightwing number 70.
Yep.
That was the book people wanted.
Yep. And you were the villain 4, even though nothing happens in that.
I didn't have that. I didn't have that at all where I was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we only had, I think, 1 for the shelf in Bucktown because a bunch of people who had not subscribed to it had emailed in the last 3 days saying, oh, am I not down for that? When it's like, there's so many ways that you would know that you're not down for that. But yes, no, you're not down for that.
I was surprised by the number of books that we sold out of this week in Bucktown.
Yeah.
Randomly. Just like, Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah, and on top of that, we had multiple people who did not get it. So it's not like we just sold through. It's like we sold through and then a bunch of people wanted it.
There's a bunch of people in the book for it.
Yeah. So that, we'll hopefully be able to fill that.
Runaways.
Runaways is especially weird because that's one that we almost had to stop carrying for the shelf because we were not selling any off the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which probably just means that we sold the one we got in when we didn't sell one last month. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there's a bunch of things that sold higher this last week than in past weeks. I can't imagine what would cause people to start buying more stuff this week than in past weeks. Patrick, any thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it's a lot of it is AWA releasing all 4 of their books, their
we
new
sold,
books.
We sold better on
this week.
Resistance than I would have thought. I'll say that.
And we had somebody come back today who loved Resistance so much they bought everything else.
That's cool.
Signed up for all of them.
Okay, great.
And we didn't even stock Red Border or Hotel.
Not to start with, but I ordered some.
Yeah, you did for Red Border, but not for Hotel.
No.
Did you?
No, I didn't order Hotel.
There are numerous entries in the special order book for Hotel.
Wow. Okay.
For Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I can sort of see Hotel because if you're somebody who gets like horror stuff, it's definitely more of like an Ice Cream Man style horror book than, Red Border or Resistance.
Red Border is outright horror.
Yeah, but it's
it
also
is a family that's escaping a foreign country, and the people that they're relying on to help them are bad people.
Yeah, I mean it's like Coyotes meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that's an excellent way to put it.
That's what I think of it as.
I think you just sold us a bunch of extra copies.
Whoops.
Don't say whoops. That's a good thing. I mean,
We'll see.
yeah, provided.
So yeah, AWA definitely.
The optimism.
Guess who was like 2 publishers into working on the breakdown for the June catalog before news happened, and he suddenly decided, I'm just gonna play Animal Crossing and not think about this for the rest of the day.
Oh, I mean, I'm at Marvel.
No, I meant like I was breaking down the catalog, like the new catalog listing that we would normally post on our website.
Oh, I see.
Oh no, I mean I did the last catalog.
Yeah.
Like that's all orders not submitted yet, thankfully, but those are done. But the June shipping product catalog went up on the Diamond website today, and normally today would be the day that I would start breaking that down and formatting it in a way where we can have it for our subscribers so they can look it over and decide if that's stuff that they want to add to their subscription lists. But just the idea of like June product was a thing that around 3:15 I'm like not thinking about this, putting it right out of my brain for safety's sake.
Sure.
Just not thinking about it. Patrick, do you want to talk about why that was?
I assume it's because you were playing Animal Crossing.
No, Animal Crossing was a solution to a problem that developed, not the problem itself.
An actual solution or a distraction?
Time will tell.
I mean, if you've solved it,
Will tell.
Please tell me.
It
Please.
depends if I can 100%
Please.
lose myself in being the resident representative of Delantis, which boasts not being underwater since 2020. So,
Wow.
if people are looking for a vacation spot, a way to get away from it all. We email challengers@challengerscomics.com. We'll switch friend codes. We'll visit some islands. We'll get on the Nintendo Online Switch app chat, and we will talk comic books and other related matters while we all watch American society disappear right in front of our eyes.
I kind of like that the things that you recently have gotten into, like, really heavily, are things that I don't care about at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I've always had those things with you,
Sure.
i.e., you don't care about Taskmaster. You're a loss.
The TV show. I care about the villain quite a bit.
Right, you don't care about the TV show or
No, at all.
any of my British panel shows.
No.
Or just,
Never cared about the IT crowd. Just never did.
Right, sure. Which is weird because you're so into Red Dwarf.
And I like those actors, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't like that show.
That's fine. I mean,
I literally like all 3 of those main actors from the IT crowd. I really do. But all from different projects.
Yeah. But that's okay. It doesn't
funny
have to
stuff.
be.
Anyway.
Yeah. I like that there's this easy separation. And the people
Yeah, I don't
necessarily know that there is, because if one of us posts a thing on Instagram and then somebody starts asking about flying to an island, I'm like, that's not for me.
Yeah. I like that we're not 100% the same person.
No, we shouldn't be.
No,
Good God.
But I think that's helpful. But I mean, for 2 people who've known each other as long as we have and been friends as long as we have and worked together as long as we have, I think there becomes this, the coupling almost, where it's like all of a sudden you start sharing mannerisms and being into each other's fandoms, and then it's like, there's no separation. And I like that there's things where it's like, no, I'm not trying to like get you into Kamen Rider. Like,
no.
I don't want that. I want that to be just for me.
But Tal, I'd watch it for you.
You
just
would,
not with you.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, man. But no, Animal Crossing was a welcome respite from the ongoing
Oh my God! You keep trying to pull us into this conversation.
Tribulations.
What?
What did you want to talk about? I'm sorry. I never asked. I never asked.
You know, it's too late. You never asked.
I never asked.
Forget it.
What do you want to talk about, Patrick?
The IT crowd.
Oh, okay.
Morris Moss is so good.
So that's my question. Of the three main actors, who is it? Richard Ayoade? Who's your favorite?
Richard Ayoade. I mean, I have multiple. I have 3 books he's written.
You do. Nothing from Chris O'Dowd, though, I guess.
If Chris O'Dowd would write a book, I would consider buying it, but
But you don't go looking for other Chris O'Dowd stuff. Like, he's been in a bunch of TV shows that
well,
you probably haven't watched.
He wrote and starred in Moon Boy.
Yeah.
Wasn't good.
No?
No.
I assume he's made some sort of, like, drippy romantic comedy stuff.
Sure. He's always in, like, he's never the... You know what? I did watch a 10-episode internet series that he and Rosamund Pike were in.
Yeah.
And they were a couple who just split up.
Yeah.
And they would meet every week to get a drink before they went to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And this show, the name of which I can't remember.
Sure.
It had a very solid... hey, what was that Canadian drama about the actors that you watched?
Slings and Arrows.
Okay, it wasn't called that. It was like that.
Slings and Arrows was called that.
No, I mean this show.
They were a Shakespearean theater company.
This show was also...
Rachel McAdams was in a season.
I think Nick Hornby is part of this show. It's like written by Nick Hornby and directed by somebody.
I mean, speaking
famous.
of Nick Hornby, like he did that. He wrote a book, maybe, or maybe a script.
A lot of books.
Well, specifically, he did one that for a movie I saw where Ethan Hawke was like a pop singer who disappeared.
Oh yeah,
and like Chris O'Dowd was a gigantic fan of his.
Yeah, I read that book.
And Chris O'Dowd was pretty funny at it as this, like, huge, massive fan of this guy. He's
a super nerd, deep journalist like Nick Hornby would be, the guy that knows everything about this band that disappeared years ago.
Yeah, it was like everybody in it was real good, but Chris O'Dowd was great as this insufferable super fan.
And who was his wife?
Rose Byrne, I think.
Yeah, okay, it was Rose Byrne. I think you're right.
Yeah, and she's great in it.
Full of good people.
Yeah. But anyway,
unrelated. I'm a big fan of the current High Fidelity.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah, I don't know how many episodes I have left. I think it's just 1.
Yeah,
but it's good stuff.
Well, that's great.
Anyway, fine, Dal. We'll talk about it. It's hard to escape it, and it is a thing that literally every day we've talked about it, and it changes so much. And today's big news is that we're shut down.
Yeah, so let's talk about the coronavirus. As always, sorry that we're talking about this because in general it can seem kind of omnipresent. It can be a little suffocating how much everything is about the coronavirus.
And I know you would love to use comics as your escape.
Yeah.
And this podcast is normally, hopefully, like that, but you can't get away from this topic.
No,
and
in fact, in a way that it's super weird when non-coronavirus stuff pops up, it's like
I get mad at it.
Yeah, like
I get mad at emails like
read the room.
Yeah, hey, check out this book that's on FOC this week. Like, oh my god, why did you send this?
Yeah.
Yesterday's, I don't care that your pins are on sale.
Yeah, the stuff where it's just like, oh, Converse introduced a new shoe. Like, I am watching my way of life, my country disintegrate in really weird, scary ways. Like, we were all thinking climate change. We were not expecting like virus. We were not expecting a viral outbreak to basically grind America to a halt and make restarting it seem kind of impossible. I don't know. We're going to find out.
I know everybody has been, not everybody, but all the wrong people have been calling this by a different name. They were describing
Derek?
it by...
Are they calling it Derek?
We're not calling it Derek.
Don't call it Derek.
Derek is a supreme being now. It should be, if you want to call it by how it started, it was a bat. It was a bat that bit an animal. This is a goth virus.
Yeah, why don't we call it like bat flu?
Call it goth virus. That's fine.
What's better branding than bat? I mean, take it from a comics retailer. It's the best branding.
It's the best branding. The bat virus.
Yeah.
If you're gonna have your gigantic notes printed out in front of you and cross them out,
weird racist notes,
and write your racist things on it, just write bat.
Anyway, boy, I'll talk about a lot of things in this podcast. I don't want to talk about that guy. So yeah, the moving target of the coronavirus and how small businesses like Challengers which is a comics business, and this is a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Podcast Network, coming to you from Chicago.
While it burns.
Because it can't come to you from literally anywhere else right now, based on Governor Pritzker and Mayor Lightfoot. Yeah, so that was the thing. Like we recorded last week, and literally within 24 hours, the whole situation changed.
We also recorded a day earlier.
Uh-huh.
Because we're like, hey, let's do this and actually free up some time on the weekend.
Uh-huh.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
And today it was, should we hold off on this for a day or two?
No.
What else could change?
No.
What else could go wrong?
Well, we recorded on a Thursday, and then on Friday things changed. And it's like, well, we're recording on Friday because I don't know how much the city or the state is going to do on a weekend. Like, usually that stuff, unless it's martial law, which I was assured by Governor Pritzker, it is not martial law.
No, that's martial law out there.
Which, I mean, it's funny the people who are like, when people are misspelling martial law, that's M-A-R-T-I-A-L law. And they're
marital law.
And they're misspelling it M-A-R-S-H-A-L-L. People are like constantly calling out, I guess, a Tekken character, and it's like, no, come on. Kevin O'Neill. Pat Mills.
Right?
Folks. Anyway. So yeah, the status that we had last week was, basically it was a recommendation from the city and the state, and the federal government as well, to not go places. Bars and restaurants that had previously been on a reduced capacity, they were asked to limit the amount of people in there to a much smaller number than they could normally have. That was Thursday, and then Friday it was, we're shutting them all down. That happened within 24 hours of us recording, and that started to escalate a lot of people's concerns and a lot of their fears about what was going to happen next.
I know this is not the concern of, well, A, a comics podcast, but B, also the people in charge of the city. But having these restaurants close the day before St. Patrick's Day, that is a big business day for restaurants.
Yeah, but I
don't mean party bars. I mean
just restaurants.
Meals. I mean corned beef and cabbage. I mean Irish stew. I mean all the comfort foods associated with that holiday, and I mean dine in. Right. I mean bars too.
Right.
But they're always the weekend before. Or after, whatever's closest.
So we went from, Wednesday and Thursday where it was like lower traffic and a lot of people were working from home, but we weren't really seeing a huge impact in Bucktown. In River North, we were already starting to see a lot of people that would normally come in not come in. And when I say a lot of people, I mean a percentage, not the actual raw number, because that is not a high number.
But because that store is so close to the downtown area, right, and so many people are working from home, I want to say like 80% of the people that I've talked to this week are working from home.
Yeah, so more and more businesses...
We don't have that luxury.
Yeah, more and more businesses were closing, but as a retail establishment, we kind of needed to stay open. That's our traffic is walk-in traffic. We do not have a really robust consumer-facing sales website. We have a few things that we list online that people can buy that are exclusive to our store, but they're things like prints and book plates and pins, subscriptions to Bad Idea Books. But it's not like our graphic novel inventory, our comic inventory. So we needed to stay open as long as it seemed reasonable to do so. And that was shifting through the week, so much so that we were already talking Monday and Tuesday of this past week about reducing hours in River North because of how light the traffic is there and how difficult it's going to be to get there going forward, and how risky it might be to continue to interact with the public. Bucktown is something where it's enough neighborhood stuff to feel like something that feels like a good idea, or at least not detrimental to the health of citizens. But River North was one where it's like, look, if we're literally seeing one transaction on a Monday, we might as well be closed on a Monday. Like, it's just not worth it.
I earned that $13 sale.
You did.
I did not. He just bought card sleeves.
So, yeah, as of Wednesday, we had decided that we would be reducing our hours in River North. Bucktown would stay open 7 days a week, but River North would be open Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. We'd be closed Thursday, Friday, and Sunday going forward. Because a lot of these restrictions that are being placed by the city and the state and the federal government are very, like, it's till this date, and then we'll revisit it. So it's a lot of businesses are just closed indefinitely. No one knows when it's going to be safe to reopen for their employees, for their customers, for whatever. So on Wednesday, we were like, okay, 4 days a week in River North, which, next week maybe we'll revisit. If we're seeing no traffic on Saturday and Monday, maybe we close then too.
Yeah, like Monday, there's work to be done, but I could do it from home.
Right.
Ooh, I could do it from home. Actually, I can't. There's things I need there. But Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that we need to be there.
Yeah. Tuesday to unpack stuff, and Wednesday because it's new release day. Like, had we been allowed to do so, we would have continued to stay open at least on Wednesday, if no other day, because that's the new release day. It's the one day that maybe we could sort of funnel people who want new books in towards that one day, and then maybe that could make up for a few of the days that we'd be closed. That was on Wednesday. Today is Friday, and we were hearing reports from people earlier in the day that Pritzker was going to announce that there would be a shelter-in-place policy for the entire state of Illinois.
What a weird name. Shelter-in-place.
Shelter-in-place. It's not catchy. But that has been something that had already been enacted in other parts of the country. California, I think New York City, maybe some other places. So I had thought it was coming. When I talked to people on Wednesday, I was saying, I thought by the weekend we would get shelter in place, because what social distancing and working from home was supposed to be doing was containing an outbreak, and the numbers keep climbing. We have not turned a corner. We have not gotten this thing under control. So more extreme measures were going to need to happen. So yeah, on Friday it was officially announced that all non-essential businesses in Illinois are to close until April 7th at the earliest, at which point that's when the current executive order runs out, and the state of Illinois will take another look and see if it's something where, if places can reopen, they'll be allowed to do so, but there's no guarantee that's going to happen.
Obviously, we'll know well in advance of that day. We should probably know that Friday. And I think it's the 6th. The 6th is a Monday. It's April. I think it's April 6th.
I'm going to look.
I already had a person in today who had said that, well, my business is essential. And it was just his opinion of it.
Sure. GameStop had that, where they were telling store managers, corporate level was telling them, we consider GameStop an essential business because of how it gets technology out to the community and how it provides a resource for people to maintain their mental health, and which led to GameStop managers having to leak this to the press to say, this is unsafe and we don't think we should be doing this, and we don't think it's legal to do this. And then within 24 hours, GameStop was like, no, you should close. Because it got leaked to the press,
but
not because
Animal
they
Crossing.
changed their mind. I bought it digitally. I'm sorry. I'm part of the problem. I did not go to a store to buy it. I did not try and order it through an online vendor. I just went to the Nintendo eShop and went, yes, please download it.
Yeah, but forgive me for this digression.
It's okay.
Buying it digitally is not the same thing as buying a comic digitally, because no matter how you buy it, you still play it on that console.
Correct. But it means that, I would... Honestly, normally,
you would have.
All things being equal,
you would go to a neighborhood brick and mortar store.
I would go to GameStop, or I would go to Best Buy, and I would buy it that way. I don't do everything digitally. This time it was I don't know if I'll be able to go to a store, and I don't know if they're going to have it.
But also you feel a little bit better because you read the reports of all the things GameStop was saying they're doing and how they're being extra clean, and how their managers are like, no, we're not.
And the manager's like, we do not have any cleaning supplies. That is not happening. It is not safe here. So that didn't make up my mind. But no, I definitely was of the mindset of if I can get this digitally, I probably should. And so we're going to talk about a lot of stuff about how the coronavirus and the government reactions to it and the rules that are in place are affecting our business. But I want to be upfront about something real clear. I do not blame anybody for taking whatever precautions they can, and I do not hold anything against the government of Chicago or of Illinois for taking the steps they have to protect citizens. I think it's absolutely vital at this time, with no working vaccine and with a shortage of tests, thanks to a federal government, that municipalities are doing whatever they have to protect their citizens. I think that is vital. I think it's important. I think we are very much looking at what we are allowed to do and trying to adhere to whatever guidance we get from our government. Absolutely. So as a result, anybody who's like, I don't feel comfortable going to a store, I can't blame you for that. I do not blame you for switching whatever purchases you have to whatever you have to feel comfortable doing. I don't at all, and I don't want anything we're saying going forward in this episode for Contest of Challengers, Comics Industry Business Podcast on the iChannel Podcast Network, to sound like I am judging anyone for making decisions in their own best interest of their health and well-being.
Counterpoint. No, just kidding.
How dare you, all of you.
I do blame all of the St. Patrick's Day revelers.
Yeah, boy, they really screwed us all.
I do blame all of the people on spring break right now.
So I said, when I was talking to people about this on Wednesday, that I don't blame Pritzker for changing the regulations within a day to shut down businesses and bars, restaurants and bars, I should say, because like we've all had parents, and we've had parents say, "Okay, don't do this thing," like, and then you do that thing, and they're like, "Cool, now I can't trust you, so now it's going to be much worse for you." Like if you had, it's like if there was a cookie jar, and it was accessible to you as a child.
Go on.
And your parents said, "Okay,
wait. What kind of cookies?
Chocolate chip."
Okay. I would have also accepted Oreos.
Store-bought, but, I mean, they're still pretty good.
Fine.
So there's a cookie jar, and it's on the counter.
If they're Whole Foods store.
And your family's not that rich.
But what if Margie gave them to us?
Soft batch cookies. Sorry.
Why would you do that?
You can put them in the microwave. They melt a little bit.
Now this analogy is ruined. I'm not going after those cookies.
For those of us listening to the podcast that are not Patrick, here's the rest of the analogy. Imagine there's a cookie jar on the counter.
Full of garbage.
And your parent says, there's a cookie jar. After dinner, you can have a cookie, but only after dinner. And then the next day, you get home from school, and you just go into the cookie jar, and you start eating cookies. And your parent's like, okay, great. I looked in the cookie jar. All the cookies are gone. Now I'm getting rid of the cookie jar, and I will decide when you can have a cookie. You do not get to serve yourself anymore because I gave you my trust, and I expected a responsible outcome, and I didn't get it. So now you don't get the option. And that's what Pritzker do, is basically say, I asked you not to make a mess. You made a mess. Now you don't get to make a mess. There you go.
When I was in junior high school, I had a friend named Rob Boback.
Mm-hmm.
He would write his name capital R, lower O, capital B, O-B-A-K.
Uh-huh.
So that would lead our science teacher, Mr. Scariano, to call him Roboback.
It's a good name.
But I was at his house one day after school to work on a project, and his mom had made homemade apple turnovers.
Sure.
And there's 4 people in his family,
uh-huh.
and she'd made 4. And there was a note that said, Rob, you could have, and she left out the cool before she was a real estate agent, she was going to work. She was, Rob, you could have 1 turnover.
But not till after they cool down. No, I'm sorry.
Your mom
that's
said,
cat bug. My mom.
Your mom said I could have 1 peanut butter square.
Uh-huh. But not till after they
cool
down.
But not till after they cool down. So the note said, Rob, you can have 1 apple turnover.
Uh-huh.
And there was the tray that they were at, and they'd all been on the tray because they were cooling, because you could see where they were. 2 were missing.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Perfect.
Uh-huh. Anyway, so...
And where's Rob Boback now? I have no idea.
Who knows? That's what Facebook is for. I think it still works.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's where we were last week, and things changed, and we found out this Friday that we're all shut down, and we are trying to figure out basically what that means for us.
Now, I want to jump back and say that Dal and I had a conversation prior in the week, wondering if we should have just shut down, if us being open was a disservice to the people of this city and the community, and if we were hurting people.
Yeah.
And honest to God, there's 2 ways to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 1, yes, shut down.
Yeah.
But 2,
slow the spread. Yeah.
But 2, people rely on the books that we sell as an escape, as part of their routine, as part of their normalcy. And I was literally telling someone this today, and they had said that when they first moved to Chicago, coming to Challengers each week was literally the highlight of their week. Aww. Until they got more comfortable and met more people and had a social circle.
And figured out that Challengers is the best thing in Chicago, and that they peaked early.
But to imagine, to say, hey, that's taken away from you. Like, how would you feel?
And I mean, for folks that have never been to Challengers who are listening to this podcast, it's, you know, the one in Bucktown, it's 1,500 square feet. And, you know, even on a busy Wednesday, we never really have more than 10 or 12 people in the store at one time.
Maximum, yeah.
Yeah, we're not that big a store that has that many people coming in. So, on a day like this past Wednesday, where a lot of people are opting to get their books delivered or to just not come in at all, I don't know that I had more than 6 or 7 people in the store at any one time, and that was the peak period of the day, was like a half dozen people in at once. So, you know, while part of me is like, we should be closed, this is a bad idea to give people even the option of coming to a shared space, it's like, there's way more than 6 feet between people, and no one's touching each other, and no one's really talking to each other to get, like, any sort of germs transferred between one another. It's not as safe as being home, but it didn't strike me as being negligent in any way for us to allow it.
And how many times did you wipe down the counters?
A lot.
A
lot.
Constantly doing the door handles.
I mean, I was washing my hands and hand sanitizing constantly, and let me tell you, as someone whose hands
are adverse to...
are very, very bad in the winter time and don't retain moisture very well, my hands were in terrible shape at the end of the day.
Well, Dal, I have good news for you.
A lot of moisturizer I had to put on my hands when I got home. A whole lot. What's the good news, Patrick?
As of tonight, it's spring.
Oh, fantastic. That's true. Happy spring.
Spring is going to suck.
So, yeah, let's cut to some of the chases, because we're going to talk about what Challengers is doing, and then we're going to talk about the larger industry stuff that we have to comment on about how publishers and distributors are doing things and what the coronavirus is doing to comics publishing over the next 2+ months.
Now, I want to point out that this has changed dramatically over the weeks,
sure.
And we've been waiting for the major publishers to step up.
Yeah.
And I have been fortunate enough this week alone to be on James Van Osdale's Car Con Carne podcast.
Neat.
Substitute title for the time being, Quarantine Con Carne.
Good.
Because the car is parked.
It's a good one.
In the garage.
It's a good one.
And we talked all about this, and then yesterday I spent a good amount of time talking to our buddy John Suntress over at Word Balloon.
Oh, so we don't have to talk about it. You can just drop that in here. I can just go get dinner.
I mean,
is that no?
It depends on where you're going. I mean, you can't just go to a restaurant.
Just carry
okay,
out.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I was telling him yesterday have changed, but slowly over the course of the week, we've heard from a lot of publishers.
Yeah.
But not the major publishers.
Well,
slowly over the course.
Right.
Yeah, Image and Boom jumped in front of this, and Vault and
Dynamite.
Dynamite is
Valiant.
offering personal returns. Yeah, everybody's doing a lot, but we're waiting for Marvel, DC, and Diamond.
Yeah.
And a lot of one of the things that was on a lot of retailers' minds is Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that changed drastically over the last week. The first announcement was that Free Comic Book Day would become Free Comic Book May.
Yeah, this was Diamond's big news earlier this week. Free Comic Book May. It's up to each retailer to decide how they want to do it, when they want to give the books out, and you have a whole month to choose from.
Yeah.
And
then literally the next day,
to a person, every retailer said, "Oh my God, that is a terrible idea."
Yeah.
And this was a point where me personally just had to really choose my words, so I did not swear.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to swear a lot.
Yeah. And then
it changed it literally the next day to, hey, we're postponing it to sometime in the late summer.
Right. So we'll talk about Free Comic Book Day for a minute, and then we'll talk about Challengers. So Free Comic Book Day, it's tricky because a lot of that stuff is in the pipeline.
By that stuff, you mean the books are on the way to us.
Just the whole infrastructure, the posters, the T-shirts, the promotional items, the books, the everything. Like every element of supporting and promoting Free Comic Book Day is somewhere in a warehouse right now. We would start getting things like posters, and I think the Random House graphic comic we'd be receiving next week.
Yeah. The Lucy Knightley one.
Yeah, so that thing was, when Diamond was making this decision, those two things were at a Diamond warehouse being packed up. Like, that thing it's already there. And so all of the other things, all of the comics, all the promotional comics produced for Free Comic Book Day are at printers or coming off of printers or on trucks to Diamond warehouses right now. This is not a thing where Diamond could just go, all right, we're not doing it. We're talking over 1 million comics each year that get produced for Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
It's way too late to turn the switch off. So postponing was kind of all they could do, short of just pulping everything. And I don't know that that was a reasonable ask, because these books, I mean, they could just be for some later date. At some point, this is not forever. What's going on with COVID-19 and the things that are happening...
What does that stand for again?
What does it stand for, Patrick?
Corona.
Uh-huh.
Virus.
Uh-huh.
DF.
I don't think that's what it means. I don't think that's
sure.
right. I definitely don't think that's
sure.
correct.
It's
I think that is incorrect.
Coronavirus. Oh, dead.
No.
Not dead, sorry.
Oh,
dead.
golly. Oh,
Yeah.
too soon.
19
Way too soon. Oh, gosh.
And it was discovered in 2019.
Oh, golly. That's what gets you banned on Twitch. So...
oh, no, my non-existent Twitch account.
So, yeah, postponing it is kind of the only thing they could do. Hopefully sometime later in 2020, things will be normal enough that we can do Free Comic Book Day, and obviously we'll have announcements on that when that happens, but basically no idea when that's going to happen. Hopefully later this year, dunno. But right now, we're not really thinking about what the first weekend in May would normally be or what's going to happen with Free Comic Book Day. We are just concerned with the basic survival of our business because, yeah, stores closed as of 5 p.m. Saturday night, March 21st.
Yes.
And then through ? As with all of the things that are going on with the coronavirus, we ask that you check our website, check our socials for up-to-date information. Feel free to email us at challengerscomics.com. That's challengers with an S, comics with an S.com. We are absolutely monitoring our emails. We get those at home. So
That's true. And real quick, our socials are Facebook, Challengers Comics. Instagram, Go Challengers Go. Twitter, Challengers.
And those are for both locations as well as any online business we do. So if you do need to contact myself or Patrick, that is the way to do it. The email, honestly, is the fastest because I don't check the socials. And we're not necessarily going to be on things like Twitter and Instagram or even Facebook as much as we would be checking our emails because that's where more up-to-date
Correct.
information is coming in. So if you do have something you want us to see and respond to, please challengerscomics.com.
However, if it's your Kickstarter, hard pass.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy, just not the time for it.
I got a Google listing human being call today,
Uh-huh.
and I went off on her,
Uh-huh.
and unfortunately, the air horn died.
Uh-huh.
It-
Coronavirus is definitely happening where they are, too.
It had a little, all it had was a and it was dead. It ran out. So furious, because I finally, I'm just, I'm going to
sad
blast her.
trombone.
And all I said was basically, seriously? This is what you're doing now?
Right now.
While the world is on fire, you want to update my Google listing?
Uh-huh.
And she said, well, it's because of the coronavirus that Google is like, nope.
How dare
nope.
you have a canned response
Yeah.
that leverages coronavirus? How dare you? So what we're doing in the short term, a lot of it is what we've been doing this past week for people that feel uncomfortable coming to Challengers. If you want to pay for your subscriptions online, we'd be happy to have you do that. Contact us via email, and we will, if you're a subscriber, send you an invoice for what you currently have on hold, books we paid for. Like a lot of businesses who maybe depend on constant traffic, we also are not going to be penalizing people who can't come to the store. If you are a subscriber and you are worried that your subscriptions are going to be put back out, please, of all times right now, do not worry about that. No one's subscriptions are getting put back out while we are closed.
Really? Not even?
Even them, and you know I want to, but even them, no. Like, if the city of Chicago is not going to be writing parking tickets, I don't feel comfortable telling people,
Hold on. Our very good friends at Club Lago Restaurant are doing home delivery, or they still can,
yeah.
for full family meals, and Guido is driving around the city.
Oh, that's cool.
Guido also showed a photo of the brand new parking ticket he got right in front of Lago as he had run in to get another delivery. Yesterday.
Well, I don't know when that
Yesterday.
starts. It might be starting tomorrow.
I thought it was immediately.
I thought it was too, but
yeah.
I guess the message didn't get out from Mayor Lori to the boots on the ground. But anyway,
Literally booting the cars.
Yeah, so for us as a business, no, we will not be penalizing people who have subscriptions with us who find themselves unable or unwilling to get their books in some way. That said, while we cannot have walk-up customers, I don't think we can have curbside pickup.
You cannot.
Yeah, there's an FAQ from the city of Chicago, and it is like 7 pages long, which does not seem nearly long enough for all the questions businesses are going to have.
Curbside pickups is definitely out.
Yeah, curbside pickup we can't do, so that was a thing where it's like, that's not going to happen. We are shipping books out. We will be shipping books out continuously. We will make stops each night as necessary to places that can take packages to make sure that people's books are going out. So while we gave a guidance last week about how, if you pay for your books, it's largely the next day in Chicago, that's still true, but the books may not physically get to a distribution hub until the next day after you pay for them. So, for example, if you contact us on a Thursday and say, send my books out, they will probably not be at the post office or a postal pickup point until Thursday evening, because basically we will probably not be at the store enough to give them to a mail carrier, even if we schedule pickup.
And even if we drop them off, or we don't even drop them off, they don't get picked up until around midnight.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't even count until Friday.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, basically, if you pay for your books on Thursday and we pack them up on Thursday, they will probably not get to you, even if it's one-day delivery, until Saturday. Just keep that in mind. So
yeah. For example, today I shipped out a bunch of stuff for people, and the mail lady came very early this morning.
Yeah.
So I had to schedule a pickup for tomorrow.
For the stuff that came in later.
Right. So people won't get that until Monday.
Yeah. The other thing we're looking into, and again, I don't know what our availability is on this. Patrick and I doing deliveries. We will probably have plenty of time on our hands for the next few weeks, and we have a car and we live in the city of Chicago, so that's a thing where we could conceivably drop them off outside people's houses, apartments, townhouses, condos.
I'm willing to do that. I don't know if we're allowed to.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because you're only allowed to go to essential businesses,
right.
Or...
But, like, delivery people are allowed, but it's for restaurants, for essential businesses. As a non-essential business, I don't think we can have delivery. I honest to God, don't know. That's a thing that we're going to have to investigate and try and figure out over the next few days. So currently, I would assume that we are not going to be allowed to do that. We will absolutely update people if that turns out not to be the case.
I felt bad. One of the packages packed up today is somebody that lives like 4 blocks away.
Right. Did you want to talk about the other thing? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, it was offered to us, and I think that if people want to do it, sure.
Sure. Well, I mean, I definitely think people would want to do it, considering we cannot have people walk up to our business and get the books that they've paid for. However...
If we're in the back alley and know you're coming...
However, we were offered by a local business, the Chicago Game Cafe. Board Game Cafe?
Chicago Board Game Cafe.
Chicago Board Game Cafe.
It's 4 letters. CBGC.
CBGC. I don't think anyone's using that.
CBGBs.
Anyway, the Chicago Board Game Cafe and Eric Garneau, who we work with to supply graphic novels.
Eric Garneau from Garneau's Trading Post?
From Garneau's Trading Post.
Whoa, I know that guy.
Is a restaurant and does do carryout.
They have a pickup window.
They have a pickup window. And as an essential business, they are allowed to still have that pickup window while all of the businesses are closed. And they've offered us the ability to have paid-for product dropped off at their location for Challengers customers to pick up. I don't 100% know the logistics of that just yet.
Yeah, I admit I don't know where their pickup window is.
Yeah, I also don't know their pickup hours.
They are, in case you don't know, they are a half block north of where we are. They're at the corner of Western and Milwaukee and...
Just south of Armitage.
Yeah, Armitage.
Yeah.
They're in the same building as Margie's Candies.
Yeah, they're across the street from McDonald's. They're the opposite corner from the Starbucks. It's that intersection right there near the Western Avenue Blue Line stop. So we are working with them on kind of how that's going to look and what that means. Again, it may be a thing where once a day we take product over there. So it's not necessarily going to be a thing. Because I want to make this clear, we are not going to be at the store our normal hours. We will be making special trips to Challengers in Bucktown to put this stuff together. I don't know how many trips we're going to make into River North, probably less often, to get stuff together for people who need stuff picked up. We will stay in contact with people via email with, kind of how that's going to work, like when the product is going to be there, when they can go pick it up. But that is an option that we're working with Eric Garnow and the Chicago Board Game Cafe to make that accessible for our customers. So if you are a local Challengers Comics in Bucktown customer, that is a developing option. There is a pickup option. However, keep in mind that in general, the hope for the city of Chicago is that people stay inside as much as they can. So if you don't want to use that, again, that's fine. But that is an option for people that
you're allowed to exercise.
You are. I'm not saying people can't do it. I'm
Right.
just suggesting that part of what the hope is with the shelter-in-place policy is that people leave the home as little as possible.
Yeah, I wonder how much of this we can actually post on our website. Like, we can talk about it now because the city's not going to listen to this podcast. But, like, I don't know if we're
I
going
don't see why we couldn't post it on our website.
Okay.
I mean, we're not going to paste it in the window necessarily, even though I thought about that, because FedEx
Sure.
is still going to be open.
Yeah.
But yeah, so those are the things that we're looking at. The other thing that we're going to be looking at is, and I don't know how viable this is, so I'm kind of loath to even mention it, but it is something that we're going to be working on for the next few days.
If you want to wait,
I'd rather mention it just to
Okay.
tell people that we are trying it.
it's a good idea.
I don't.
I mean, I did suggest it when River North opened, and Dow's like, no. But okay.
Mostly because at the time it didn't seem like it was going to be an advantage. Right now it feels incredibly advantageous to us to have a way of taking our in-store inventory for Bucktown and possibly River North as well, and making that accessible for people to shop online, either for pickup or for delivery. Obviously, more for delivery than pickup, but we're going to be looking into switching over to Comic Hub to get that inventory online. One of the biggest problems we have right now is that we don't have walk-up traffic and will not for a while. And while it's great that people are able to buy their subscriptions online, we kind of depend on people being able to pick up stuff off the shelf as well. And currently they can't do that unless they kind of have an idea of what they want and email us about it. Having our inventory consumer-facing in a way where people can pick out stuff and then, just general online shopping is kind of a vital lifeline for us right now. I don't know if it's something that we can just switch on as quickly as we'd like. It's dealing with another vendor to figure out if that's possible. We're giving them kind of zero warning and asking them to turn on a dime. We're going to try it. We're going to see what we can do to get that up and running. You'll know when we know because we'll be posting about it, and our website will probably look pretty different.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that we're looking into, is making that available. That said, in the meantime, if you are somebody who's listening who wants stuff shipped out, we are 100% flexible on that. Let us know what you're looking for. We'll give you a quote. We'll pack it up ourselves. We'll make sure it goes
and
out.
We've been taking orders from people, from friends of ours that we haven't heard, that haven't been in the store for a while. Just like, hey, do you have these books? I'll take them.
Yeah.
That kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we're doing that. We're going to try and do restocks as much as we can. Again, I don't know what that looks like. Obviously, we are a link in a very long chain, and I don't know how much of that chain is not going to be operable for the next 2 to 6 weeks.
And just the availability of new product and restock is availability of any money we would have.
Yeah. So, let's talk about the larger industry stuff, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about.
No, I think it'll
regards
come
to our
up
business?
naturally as we talk here.
So, the big concern that we have, as all small businesses have right now, is that no money is coming in, and we're trying to limit how much money goes out the door. One of the difficulties with that for the comics industry is how much of our business is not something that is just, we order more tomatoes or whatever. Like, we're ordering product that is sequential, that is shipping each week, that we've already placed orders for, that is already in the pipeline, that is already on its way to stores. On Wednesday, as every business in America was trying to figure out how to stay afloat in the current landscape, we got an invoice for books that are coming in next week. Yeah. Those things are packed up. They are shipped out. They are coming in.
Do you want to hear a staggering statistic?
Sure.
22% of the stores of comic shops in the United States are shut down.
Yeah, and so that's a big part of what we're going to talk about in a minute is the biggest problem that stores are having.
You didn't gasp. Like, you should have been like,
no, because it's something I thought about. When you're talking about California, New York, Illinois, a lot of stores there.
Yes, but Cardiangelo from Earth 2 actually did the math.
Sure. Those are California, New York, and Chicago alone are a lot of accounts. And then when you factor that out to everything in Illinois, I mean, Graham Crackers has how many stores in Illinois?
Do you want to know how little Illinois is in that statistic?
I'm very small, I'm sure.
We're only 69 accounts.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't count, like, we're 2 stores.
Yeah.
You know.
California is an incredibly populous state.
Right.
Incredibly.
It's just when he was doing it state by state, and he got to Illinois has 69 accounts with 99 stores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's all.
I mean,
I was shocked.
That's substantially more than, say, Montana.
I giggled
or
at
Hawaii.
69, and I was shocked.
Yeah. So...
You're right. Why am I still wearing a tie?
That's a good point, Patrick.
Nobody can hear that.
This is a casual dress podcast.
That explains your Laura's least favorite t-shirt.
Not wearing it right now. So the big concern that obviously a lot of stores have is there's a diamond bill that we are expected to pay each week when we cannot necessarily sell these comic books to anybody. Online stores are going to probably do fine. Like DCBS is going to probably do the business it did before. Graham Crackers has an online storefront where they're able to sell stuff, even if their physical storefronts are not able to do so. A lot of comic shops have some business they can do online, but for stores that are largely brick and mortar and depend on walk-in traffic, they're going to have product coming in that they have no way to legally sell to people. So the interest that a lot of retailers have had is what specifically are Diamond and the publishers going to be doing to mitigate those risks to us. This is not a situation that has a set timeline to it. We don't know how long this is going to be, and even when shelter in place ends, it's still problems. A lot of problems.
Yeah. This is not just a quick 2-week, 3-week, everything will be back to normal.
Just at a basic level, even when this thing ends, a lot of people that shop at comic shops are going to have little to no money.
I mean, all these schools in Illinois are closed toward the end of April.
Yeah.
For a full month minimum.
Yeah. So we've been looking to companies for guidance for what they're going to be doing. What a few companies have done, without calling out anyone in particular, the things that have been coming up most often are product that we are locking our orders in now for the next 6 weeks is going to be fully returnable from a variety of publishers. Image in particular, I think, took the lead on that. That was one of the first things they announced. Because that's something that we're dealing with right now, is that we are having to finalize orders for a time period where we may not be open to the public. So the rack copies that we would order for things, we're probably going to be cutting to the bone because we need to take care of our subscribers. If no one's going to be can come in to buy books, it's a stupid use of money to have those books for the shelf. When, in 2 months, is anyone still going to want that issue of a series, Other publishers have talked about doing those same things. You making orders returnable for the next couple months or until the situation, gets better and stores are a little bit more steady. There's talk about, and this is a big one, I think, for a lot of stores, spacing out product. We cannot have the weeks of product that we've been getting for the last years be the same going forward, because traffic is going to be down all the way around, and the money they're spending on comics is going to be a lot more limited. So, and again, and this is, I'm going to keep harping on this, there's a point where this is going to end and people are going to go back to stores and they're not necessarily going to buy 2 to 6 months worth of product.
Yeah.
They can't. They're just going to skip a lot of that stuff. So things, if you're releasing a product during that period, it's like movie theaters. Like, there's no sense putting a movie out if no one can go to the movies. Save it. Figure out some other way to air it, because the current system doesn't work. So publishers that are doing things where they're like, no, we're going to put out the same amount of product regardless. It's like, I'm not going to order it. It's stupid to do it.
Who is it for? Who do you think is going to buy this?
The digital market is not big enough to make that a good choice. And I get somewhat the argument of like, well, don't the people who are still shopping at comic shops via online purchases, via mail order, don't you want to have product to sell to them so you have some money coming in? And it's like, no, because I know how much of that money is going to get tied up, and I'd rather have zero bill right now, even if that means zero revenue coming in. Because I know the alternative is a little revenue and a very high bill. I can't risk it. It's way too risky right now to have any diamond bill whatsoever. So the more that product becomes returnable, the more I'm able to say, okay, well, I'll keep my orders somewhat reasonable instead of slashing them completely to the bone, because I know that if I do get stuck with that product, I'm going to get to return it for credit. Like, I will get that money back in some way. So basically, any publisher who's
Provided
telling
we
me...
can actually pay for it up front.
Yeah. Well, so any publisher that's telling me right now, we are going to make this product returnable, I have confidence in them. I have confidence in their product, and I'm going to keep that in mind when I'm ordering. Publishers who are not saying that are getting 0% of my trust. They're asking me to take all the risk. So whatever they're giving me, like, say, Marvel Comics deciding that all they're going to do is make the product that they're selling you at the same rate they've been selling it to you forever, which is very high, slightly cheaper for you to get in your stores. I cannot tell you how disappointed I am in them as a publisher. I cannot tell you how much I'm going to remember this long term. How when the industry was figuring out the way to support itself, Marvel was just like, cool, we'll just accept a little less money than we normally would. That's what we're going to do for you. That's for you as an industry, we will take slightly less. It's insulting. It is an insulting offer for them to make. And I got to tell you right now, if you're a subscriber and you're going to be on the fence about Marvel stuff, lock in your orders, because man, oh man, I'm talking single-digit orders for every single Marvel book on FOC going forward starting this weekend.
Wow.
I don't want... It's too risky. The risk is way too high. I'm not going to order 40 copies of Empire number 1 or 2 or whatever for the shelf if no one can come buy it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going to order 5 because I know that if I bet wrong, I got 6 weeks or more of product that I can't sell to anybody. And as someone who's recently run a store where I've had 6 weeks of product that no one wanted to buy, I know what that looks like. I know how much that costs.
Does it look kind of blue?
Uh-huh. So I am absolutely not taking that risk. We are more or less, for non-returnable orders, for Bucktown, for Challengers Red, my policy right now is basically club only. A little bit above that, basically club only, because I can't bet that in 2 months people are going to want any of these books. That's not how it works normally.
It definitely is not how it works normally.
No. So, yeah, if Marvel's not going to be on our side with this, if Marvel's going to say, best of luck, then no. I'm voting with my dollar at this point, and I'm putting my money on publishers that have my back, that are saying, we get that this is a volatile landscape, and we get that you cannot count on walk-in traffic, and we don't know what this looks like in a month, so we're going to make it easy on you to weather this storm. Marvel is saying the opposite of that. Marvel is saying, we're looking out for Marvel, and you guys can fend for yourselves. So, yeah, I'm going to fend for myself, and I'm not going to order a lot of Marvel stuff.
I feel like Marvel
There
is
it is.
literally saying, what are you going to do, not order Marvel Comics?
I mean, if that's the bet they want to make, I don't like their chances in this.
Like I said, there's already 22% of the stores that can't sell anything.
Yeah, because at this point, this is not the usual Marvel kind of dick move where they puff out their chest and they're like, what, you're not going to have X-Men comics? And we just kind of bend over and go, okay, sure, fine. This is them outright saying, we are protecting Marvel even if that costs you guys money. And I think every business right now is going to have to make very, very personal choices about how they protect their business going forward. And Marvel has said, this is how they want to do it. They don't want to be a partner. So fine, I won't be. I'll be a partner to people like Image, to Boom, to even to Dynamite, who's like, we're going to reduce our output because we know that you can't sell the books that you're getting in.
And Dynamite is willing to take returns personally.
Yeah.
Not like, hey, send it back to Diamond. They realize how much this could tax Diamond's infrastructure and how difficult it might be to maintain, so they're willing
Sure.
to take it directly to them.
So yeah, the publishers that are doing that, absolutely. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that they don't see any sort of, like, that they see a very minor interruption to the money that I spend with them. Because they've shown that they want us all to get through this together. Marvel doesn't, so they won't. Now, big ol' asterisk, this is an evolving situation. If Marvel decides that it's in their best interest and the best interest of the industry that they operate within to offer returnability, great, I'm on board. They made a bad decision, they fix it, I'll forgive. I hope they come to their senses, because this is an almost unconscionably cruel decision on their behalf. Like, I can't imagine how they felt like this was their option, other than just, again, a general Marvel, what, you're not going to order Marvel books?
Right.
I don't know if this is better or worse, but DC's response has been nothing.
Nothing.
Currently, as of 9:19 p.m. Friday night, March 20th, they have said nothing about what their response is to the COVID-19 outbreak in America. I definitely need to see some leadership from them. This was the Eric Stevenson thing of, like, Image is the number 3 publisher, but the difference between 2 and 3 is a lot of percentage points. We need the number 1 and 2 publishers to lead. And it super sucks that the number 1 publisher in the industry went, meh, pass.
Did you see the Diamond note from today?
Maybe.
Basically just, hey, this isn't, like, canceling Free Comic Book Day isn't all we're doing. We're reevaluating. We've been talking with the major publishers.
Yeah. We'll
have something in the next couple days.
The things, obviously, we would like to see Diamond do would be to stagger shipments. Because, again, if stores can't sell these books, shipping them out to stores is just piling crap up. I mean, we can't do anything with it. And this is the big one, some sort of deferred billing. I mean, flat out, stores do not have money to pay bills right now. So gigantic Diamond bills. I can't stress how much, for most stores in America, their Diamond bill is their number 1 bill each week.
Oh, so, I mean, that's, hands down, not even close.
So if that became something where it was less of a burden on retailers, again, deferred billing. I'm not saying we get free product. I'm just saying maybe pay us in a little bit. 60-day billing, 90-day billing, 180-day billing, any of that stuff would be a huge weight off of a lot of retailers.
A lot of banks have been doing that with mortgages, with car loans.
Yeah.
Just saying, hey, we'll take this away for 120 days. We will still charge you interest, but you will have no late fees, and it will not reflect poorly on your credit.
Yeah, if people have no money coming in, handing them a bill is a great way to have them go, cool, I'm going to declare bankruptcy because I can't pay this and I can't pay anything else you're asking for me. So doing things like deferred billing, it's honest to God going to keep stores from going out of business. And Diamond has to realize that. They have to understand that if they're just like, each week they're saying, okay, you owe us $5,000 more. And it's like, cool, I have no customers. Everyone in America is going to have to run a GoFundMe. And that means that all those GoFundMes are going to have $0 in them. This is not a thing where it's just affecting one bracket of the comics landscape. Everybody in comics is kind of broke right now. And it sucks to have to ask Diamond and publishers to take a hit. But this is a hit we're all taking. This is not something I'm asking for special treatment on. I got an order from, J.B. Pritzker telling me that I cannot open my doors to customers. So publishers and distributors are going to also have to suffer for this. We're all going to have to sacrifice. And some of that sacrifice is, maybe not putting product out. I'm kind of okay with that. If Diamond and publishers are like, well, we can't just continue to create and print and distribute comics that no one's paying us to do that for, then don't do it. And that sucks because it means that a lot of people who work at those companies are maybe not going to have work to do. And it's going to be tough for those companies to stay afloat. And I don't know what to tell them. This is a bad situation all the way around. If anyone tells you they have an answer for this, they are lying to you, and they're lying to themselves. We're all figuring this out hour by hour, day by day. And right now, the things that I'm looking for, at the very least, returnability of product. I would love to see deferred billing. I would love to see staggered shipments. I would love to see maybe Diamond kind of switching the faucet off for a little bit. Even a week or two would help a lot of stores to not have the Diamond bill coming in.
It's too much to hope for that. It's like 4 weeks, or as you said, 6 or 8 weeks.
I don't know.
I know that they're not in an easy position, that they need to get paid as well.
Everybody does. Everyone's going to be broke.
But man, if we could all just stop having to pay stuff for a month.
But yeah, I mean, it's then you got the problem of like, that would be the ideal thing. If no one can work, it would be nice if, as a society, we were just like, no one needs to get paid. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, what does that mean for restaurants? What does that mean for small businesses? What does that mean for the people who work at restaurants? Like, all of this is like, where does that money come from? Someone's going to have to eat it. Like, we're all in that boat now. Everyone's going to have to eat it a little bit. And yeah, so for us, yeah, I don't know. We're doing everything we can to try and get books out to people as much as we can. And we're hoping that, the industry is still here in a month or two. This is something I've seen floated online. I genuinely don't know. I don't know if the comics industry survives this in the same way that I don't know that a lot of industries, I don't know if they survive this. I don't know where the money's supposed to come from when things get back to normal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much money we're going to get from the government. I don't know. Like, as a small business, we have options as far as being able to apply for small business loans. But the problem with that is, like, I don't know if we're going to qualify for it. I don't know if we're going to get enough from that to make it worthwhile. And I don't know how we repay that when we reopen, because suddenly it's like, you're going to have to do all the normal business that was barely keeping you afloat and repay this loan.
Yep.
Like, that's like saying that suddenly we're going to be doing 125% of the business that we were doing before all this. I don't think it's going to be that for a long time. Like, we are talking about globally like a recession, and that stuff takes a long time to dig out of. That is, again, not a switch that you just flip on and off. So yeah, total doom and gloom podcast. Sorry about that. Sorry, Mom. I am still eating.
And we'll be immediately after that.
Yeah, I got a credit card. I'm going to take it to Subway and eat. A lot of stuff's going on credit cards for the next couple months, man. I'm real glad that I was almost paid off on a credit card. I was so happy to be like, there's going to be no debt on this one real soon. Well, now I'm kind of glad I was paying it down. Yeah, man, we're working on it. We're doing what we can. Folks, I don't know, bear with us, I guess. There may be slight interruptions to your comics service. We're doing everything we can. We're going to have a lot of downtime, so if you have any questions, comments, anything else, shoot us an email. We want to stay in contact. This isn't a thing where we're just going to like vanish from our stores for 2.5 weeks. We bet our livelihood on comics retail, and we want it to still be around. And so we're going to keep doing everything we can to keep it in a place where it's healthy and that we can keep doing this. There may be changes. I don't know. We're very much evaluating this thing day by day, same as y'all are.
That's all we can do.
I guess, yeah. We're all hoping for the best, and we'll keep, reading comics.
Thanks for listening.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155.
And in the River North neighborhood of Chicago at 750 North Franklin Street, number 103, 312-285-2252.
Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.